Hi, I'm Diane, your host of Epic Conversations. Thanks for joining us. We have David McClure back again. David works at Andrew Womack Ministries. He's tremendous leadership skills. And we're going to be talking today, as he is, it was over about 170 people, why you may be unhappy in your job. So listen up. This is going to be good.
Well, you talk about my leadership experience, and good experience comes from bad situations. I've had my fair share of bad situations. I've had my fair share of being unhappy in my job.
Oh, okay.
But when I thought about this topic, because people want to, a lot of people want to project their unhappiness on somebody else, and yeah, that other person can be one who makes your life a little miserable. But if you've got to be there, if you have to have a job, and this is the only job available, how do you become happy in the job?
That's a good question. I bet there's a lot of people out there who want to know the answer to that one. I mean, it's so much easier to blame somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
But
Absolutely.
we have to take responsibility.
Absolutely.
So how can we be happy in our jobs?
Well, the first thing I would say would be a reason why you're unhappy is because you don't have a vision for your job. And we were talking off camera, you said, well, who cast the vision, for that? And I said, you do. And you're like, well, you're the leader, don't you cast the vision? I cast the vision for what we're going to do. You have to create your own vision. Create your own vision for your job, because you need to find value in your job. And I can't tell, well, Diane, you should have value because of this. Well, I don't, David. We should. So what is it that Diane needs to find value in that job? And that is that question, only you can answer that question. And you have to cast that vision, so that you can find value. The vision leads to value. So
vision leads to value.
Absolutely. So as I thought about it, when I looked at value, okay, you haven't looked for the value in the job. This is a possibility. Okay, I'm going to list some options. So you haven't looked for the value in the job. Perhaps the value is your coworkers that you get to work with, that you're bringing them something they didn't need. So perhaps they're your value. Even if you hate the job, perhaps they're the value in the job. Perhaps it's a growth that you're needing. Maybe it's been a weak spot or a blind spot for you, and this job that you're hating, and I'm not saying you're hating your job, but this job that you're hating is because it's rubbing all those sore spots on you that need to come off. You can think about that one. You can't have liposuction for the value in your job to get rid of those bad spots. Maybe the value is whatever it is that brings people in. So you go to the store where you buy your beautiful clothes all the time. Why do you go there? Because they have great clothes that fit my body style. So maybe in your job, the value is that somebody is coming in for what this organization sells, and you get to help them find their perfect outfit. Even you could have the worst boss in the world, but I'm the customer, walk in, oh, David, it's so good to see you. We got a new suit in, I think it's going to be perfect for you.
How did you know I work for a woman's specialty clothing store? And that's exactly
and
what
why am I going into a woman's specialty store?
That was so much fun.
There's so many things to find value in what we do, but the thing that annoys us the most is the one that gets all of our attention. So here's a story for you. I just heard this yesterday from a coworker.
Hear this story.
And so this was years ago, and this gentleman had gotten let go from his position. And it's a long story on why that is, but he'd gotten let go and was looking for a job and couldn't find anything. So the only job he could find, single man at the time, the only job he could find was shoveling manure in the horses' stalls for a guy who had money and had a lot of horses. And I forget what kind of horses the guy had, but he made the comment, he said, these horses could produce manure. and of course I'm thinking, we're laughing at the story, but at the same time, could you imagine having that job? You can't get any other job, even if you're qualified, You can't get any other job because of the time we've got COVID going on. How many people are out of work right now and can't get a job, even with their skills, because of the situation? So he couldn't get a job. He finally gets a job shoveling manure out of the horse's stall. And he said, I decided that I was going to do it unto the Lord. So I was trying to figure out how I could do a better job. And one day the owner came out and he was talking to me, and I just call him Bill. So Bill, doesn't it bother you to shovel horse manure? Well, it does now, but I would rather you call me a manure evacuation engineer. And he said, because I can find value in that title. And, well, I like that. And so he continued on, and pretty soon the guy came out, and he said, I've got a friend of mine who wants to offer you a job. I'm not looking for a job. I'm doing really good at this, and I can get better. And so here's what I heard out of the whole story is what we would consider one of the worst jobs in the world, shoveling manure. Can you imagine doing that on a 100-degree day in the South with high humidity? And the big horse flies? That would not be a fun job. Mm-hmm. But he decided this was the only job available right now, and I'm going to do it unto the Lord. And he found value in that because he looked at it as who his boss was, which in that case was the Lord.
Wow.
And so if we can't find value in any of the other things, if we can't cast a vision, which if you can cast a vision, I talked about this on another episode on casting vision. Mm-hmm. The vision for where you want to take the people is what gets them want to go. So if you create a vision for your job, it should entice you want to go there, shouldn't it? Mm-hmm. So you're leading yourself. So you get the vision, and then you find the value, and it doesn't matter if you have the most unjust boss, or if you're shoveling horse manure in 100-degree Alabama weather with sweat dripping off of you, so the horse flies are now attracted to you. Why can't you find value there? So,
good question.
That's where I think we need to get to where we find value in whatever we're doing.
That's good. It's a change of mindset. It's having to look at the situation differently. Almost look, if this is the situation, you're looking from the top down instead of from the manure up.
Yes. And who knows what you might find in that manure.
Yeah, I mean, it does.
He found a better job in that manure.
Yeah.
And he ended up with a great job, which is another story in itself. But, I never thought of that just now. He found a great job in that manure. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Thank you, David, for sharing that interesting perspective. I hope you got that one. We're moving up high to the high places. Thank you for joining us. And if you're enjoying these episodes, please subscribe to this channel, share it with a friend, and in the meantime, have an epic day in the Lord.